Well, hello everybody and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake and today I have the pleasure of reviewing for you a new 4K from Arrow Video. We have Deep Blue Sea. In this review, I'm going to be talking about the 3 factors that make physical media so fun to collect for. This is how I'm going to be grading each and every physical media review that I do. We have the TNA factor, the transfer and audio. We have the packaging, and last but not least, we have the special features. All 3 of those combined will be a combined total score, and at the end, I will rank where this sits with all of the other physical media that I have watched in 2025. You'll also get my thoughts on the movie without going into spoilers, of course. There's one big spoiler in this movie that I won't talk about because I feel like if you know Deep Blue Sea, you know that already. But I don't want to be the reason why anybody gets spoiled into a movie. I will give you my spoiler-free thoughts before I get into the review. If you like this type of content, please give the video a like, the channel a subscribe, all that stuff. It'd be greatly appreciated. But my 2 cents on Deep Blue Sea. This is my first time watching the film. I've never really been the shark movie guy. I just watched Jaws for the first time 3 years ago, back during COVID, when we couldn't really go to movie theaters. My local drive-in was showing a whole bunch of classic films, and Jaws was one of those. And I'm like, if there's any time I'm going to watch Jaws, it's going to be in the stars, isolated from everybody, at a drive-in theater, and that experience was unique, one of a kind, one I will remember forever. Jaws is an absolute classic for a reason. Made me kind of want to dip my toes into the shark genre pool, and I guess from what I've been hearing, this is like one of the best A-tier shark films that have ever been created. If that's the case, then this subgenre is not going to be for me. I thought this movie was fine. It felt like a sci-fi made-for-TV movie. I will pop my Letterboxd review right over here. There's fun action to be had. The CGI looks absolutely dated and terrible and helped add to that sci-fi effect. It's not as bad as like Sharknado. It's not on that level. It's cheesy. This is just supposed to be kind of a turn off your brain, throw popcorn in your mouth type of flick. But if that's the case, this probably would have played better for me with a larger group of people instead of just by myself watching the movie. I needed to have friends around me. I needed to have a couple of substances inside of me to just enjoy how dumb this movie was. Directed by Renny Harlin, who's made an amazing movie like Cliffhanger. He's made an amazing movie like Die Hard 2. I love Die Hard 2 a lot. But I've also never seen A Long Kiss Goodnight. Arrow Video's coming out with that also later this year. Cannot wait to finally watch that movie. But he also, Renny Harlin, I want to say he made Cutthroat Island. Like, he has a very mixed filmography. But I just thought it was okay. It was fine. It's not meant to really trick your brain into anything. It's just like, hey, sharks are going into this corridored area where you are trapped with them and you have to escape before they eat you up. Yum, yum, pretty good. Acting wise, it was all very, very cheesy. I think back in the day, people liked LL Cool J. To me, it just seemed very unneeded as a character. You had a whole group of characters, and then you just had isolated LL Cool J doing his thing. I thought you could have chopped his character completely out. I would have been okay. I won't tell you what happens at the end, but there's a fun part in one of these interviews on the special features. I'll get into a little bit more there. I gave you my 2 cents on the movie without going into spoilers. Now let's go into the first thing I will rank this movie on, which is the TNA factor, the transfer, and the audio. Again, this is my first time watch. I don't know how the old Blu-ray release looked, excuse me. There's no Blu-ray within this set either. It is just a 4K disc. But I will say, Arrow Video, man, they have a tendency of having certain moments in their 4K transfers blow me away, and having other moments in their 4K transfers completely just like I don't know, not doing much for me. There are a lot of great looking moments in this movie, and then there's just a lot of whatever. But the moments that do pop look very, very beautifully. A lot of this is shot in the darkness of those corridors that you're going through. Not a lot of bright moments, a lot of like dark grab color tones, and those look great in 4K. The darker you can make your image, the better it looks for me personally, or the more you can impress me with my 4K OLED setup that I have. Looks pretty dang solid. Audio wise, it's a 5.1 track on this one, and it sounds pretty good. I turned this sucker up very, very loud, and there are a couple jump scare moments. There are a couple of musical crescendos when certain jump moments happen. It's a shark movie. You want to make sure that you are getting the adrenaline pumping, the endorphins are flowing through your body. The music definitely helps with that. This has Dolby Audio, Dolby Atmos. Yeah, I would say overall, it's another solid release from Arrow Video. Nothing that I think is going to make my top 10 of the year lists, but it's definitely solid nonetheless. The TNA effect on Deep Blue Sea, for me, is going to get an 8 out of 10.
8.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it, but didn't wow me for, I'm not going to pop this up for, if you're going to have a new 4K player, this is not going to go in to show everybody what a 4K can do type of thing. This is not, it's solid. It's solid. 8 out of 10 is very, very solid. But now let's go into the packaging factor. Arrow Video recently has been doing a lot of slipcovers when it comes to their releases. Normally, the slipcover artwork has been a lot stronger than the actual box case artwork on these beefy box sets that Arrow Video does. In this instance, it's the exact same. And I guess me personally, I would rather go for different artwork than the exact same, because why do I even need this? Like, I feel like I can toss this away. Even though I'm a completionist with my collection, I don't want to do that. This also has all the information that you need. Right when you pull it out, you can look. I'm not going to get rid of this, but it's completely unneeded. Does not add anything to this release. I don't know. The back here has a shark, kind of mirroring the shark that's back here on the slipcover. Just you can see it a little bit better here. I don't mind it. I don't mind this artwork. I just would wish, if you're going to have the slipcover, do something with the slipcover to make it stand out, Am I the only one? Am I on an island here? I'm not sure. That's what the spine looks like, the top, the bottom. Just your classic run-of-the-mill Arrow Video box. This one's fine. I want more from the slipcover, though. But let's dig into the meat and potatoes of what's inside the box. Here is the alternate artwork, the original poster artwork of Deep Blue Sea, front and back. I will showcase off what the other artwork is, and I'll show you why I decided to flip it around in a second. Here is the reverse artwork. That kicks all types of ass. I love the way that this artwork looks. Well, it's the same artwork that's on the disc here. There we go. There we go. It's a little bit smaller, as you can see, but I don't need to have this artwork on here if it's on the disc. I would much rather just go the classier route and have the original poster artwork being shown. But again, I love that Arrow Video gives you the choice of deciding what artwork you would rather have on your release. But as I said before, we got that artwork on the disc. We also have a couple of cards in here as well. We got Mr. Sharky, and I'll show you the back of these as well, because the back has something to add to the picture as well. There we go. Boom, all the sharks. But on the back here, we have postcards with a whole bunch of bloody tidbits and whatnot. So that's a fun, nice added touch on the back here. The cast of this movie, very all over the place. You get some people that like LL Cool J. Thomas Jane, liked him as the Punisher, liked him as his main character in the HBO show Hung. I watched 3 seasons of that. When HBO made shows about guys with big Johnsons, and that's just what the show is. Okay, that's fine. Samuel L. Jackson, didn't really like his character in this movie. Was very middle of the road, very milquetoast. Didn't do a lot for me as well. Michael Rappaport is in here playing like the the nerdy tech guy, and in this case he just knows how to get around these corridors and how to escape to freedom. So it's nice to have a person like that in the group, just to add a little bit more differentiating factors into the group of people. That is what is inside the case. Now let's look at the rest of the goodies. We have a booklet, Aquatica Research, again smattered in blood. Wonder what's going on there. We have a lot of artwork, conceptual artwork here, and then we also have even more artwork, but we have essays and stuff. We've got shots from the film. There is that. And then of course it's an Arrow video box set, so we have to have the obligatory poster, and it's big. It's bigger than most posters you get in box sets like this, I will give them that, but I never do anything with these posters. I'm curious to see if people out there actually do hang these up, or if it's a very specific example of movies that you love that you're going to hang up. Because the room that I have back here, I'm going to use and need for more physical media. I don't have room to hang up posters anywhere, and I don't know if I'd hang up an Arrow Video poster that's included in any physical media, not just Arrow Video. But as is, again, my main gripe is the artwork on here. If it was just this, it would be fine, but the slipcover I feel like should be adding a little bit more. Again, there's nothing wrong with this packaging. I just feel like they played it safe for Deep Blue Sea. This does not remind me of anything from the movie either. The artwork that's on here just seems more shark adjacent than it does Deep Blue Sea adjacent. Because of that, I'm giving the packaging a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Didn't blow me away at all. Didn't offend me that much. Not as strong as what I would have liked, but still not bad nonetheless. But we talked about packaging. We talked about the transfer in audio. Let's talk about the special features, people, because we have a good smattering of them. As you can see, Arrow Video loves to have the smallest font possible and just have a whole bunch of bullet points. So you can't really read what's there, but you can see that there's a lot of stuff on there. Ideally, you break it down. You really only get 2 new pieces of special feature content. A lot of this stuff is archival from a DVD Blu-ray release of Days Past, which is great to see that it's on here. It's nice to have that time capsule just still on a physical media disc. But the 2 pieces that are new on here were kind of all over the place. The one that I really, really loved, From the Frying Pan into the Studio Tanks, a new interview with production designer William Sandel. And I had no idea who William Sandel was before I pressed play on that special feature. And oh my God, he worked as a production designer on so many classic movies, and he touches on a lot of these movies within the special feature. It runs about 25-30 minutes long. He talks about his time working with Paul Verhoeven on Total Recall, on RoboCop, coming on to kind of save production on Deep Blue Sea, and talks about a bunch of tidbits that weren't really mentioned anywhere else on the release. It talks about how they had an original ending and they didn't test audiences hated the way that it ended. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but he had to come in while he was working on another movie, The Perfect Storm, I believe, just walk across the studio lots and film a new ending, or at least pick up shots of an ending and kind of slap chop together what we get here for a final result of an ending on this film. And I thought it was weird on the ending when a certain character kicks the bucket. It just seemed very abrupt, and there's definitely a reason for that because it was very unplanned. So yeah, that was very interesting to watch. Probably top 5 favorite interviews that I've seen this year on physical media. The Inglourious Basterds set had a lot of great interviews. Cruising had a Karen Allen new interview. This is definitely in that discussion. If you liked those type of interviews, this is another one to where you are happy that you spent the time watching it, just because there's so much meaty information on the bone to dig into. It's so good. On the flip side of the coin here, we also get a new video essay, which I love. This video essay is called Beneath the Surface, a new visual essay by film critic Trace Thurman. I have not seen any of Trace Thurman's work, but after popping this in, it's divisive to say the least, and it's stretching the source material so thinly that I feel like a lot is being thrown in there just from Trace Thurman's personal life. Talks a lot about Freudism, talks a lot about sexuality towards the main protagonist of the movie, the main scientist of this movie, and just goes crazy. I more or less hate watched this video essay because the first 5 minutes I was not on board, but it's one of those things to where, like, I love video essays because you can kind of go all over the board with your thoughts and feelings and throw anything at the wall. For me, nothing stuck on this at all, but I wanted to see if it wrapped itself up in a neat little bow, but no, it just kept on going down a rabbit hole that I was never gonna connect with personally. So I didn't like the video essay too much, but at least it's something new on there. Any new piece of content for physical media, even if it's not made for me, I still appreciate. The one thing that I wish was on this release, and I'm assuming that they couldn't do it because they probably had to pay extra money to have it on here, the music video by LL Cool J. What, bigger, faster, something about a shark tail or shark's fin. As soon as that music played on the end credits, I'm like, I need to check to see if this music video is in here because I bet it is ridiculous. Unfortunately, it is not on this release. That is a huge bummer, but you probably get a good hour's worth, 15 minutes worth of bonus feature content. Again, it's on the 4K disc. A lot of good, a couple of things I didn't like, but still not hating. Still appreciating new stuff is on here. Special feature wise, I'm giving this release a solid 8 out of 10.
8.
Really mainly because of that interview with the production designer. That is must-watch material. If you're a fan of 90s action movies, you owe it to yourself to watch that tidbit. Even if you're not the biggest Deep Blue Sea fan, because again, he only talks about Deep Blue Sea for 10 of the 30 minutes that he's being interviewed, worth the price of admission on this box set alone. And one of the main reasons why I'm keeping this in the collection. One, because I think that I'm going to like this more on a rewatch. I feel like this is one of those movies that if you grew up with it, you absolutely love it. And I think the more that I watch this movie, the more I will be on board with the dumbness of the movie, I guess. I'll know what I'm going into. But the interview, anytime I pop this disc in, I'm going to watch it again because there are so many great little tidbits of a man's career that he just wants to, sit on his retired rocking chair and reminisce about days gone by. And I absolutely adore that about this special feature. So there you go, folks. The final score of this physical media review, Deep Blue Sea Aero Video 4K, for me, is getting a 23 out of 30. Over here, I will showcase off the ranking of every single physical media release that I have watched this year. Right now, this ranks at number 12. Not bad at all. All of the ones that I've actually done this rating scale for have not scored lower than a 20. I would say if it's anywhere between 22 to, I think the highest I've rated this year is 28. That is all pretty dang good, high quality stuff. You can't really go wrong with Deep Blue Sea, especially if you're a fan of the movie. This is the best definitive way to own it in your collection. Let me know your thoughts on the movie in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the rating scale in the comments, what you think about this movie, what you think about Aero Video as a whole. Stay tuned after the credits to hear a little bit more spoiler talk on Deep Blue Sea. But thanks for watching this far, and until next time, I'll see ya. Deepest, bluest, my hat is like a shark's fin. Doo-doo, swimming in the ocean. Hey everybody, how's it going? If you made it this far, congratulations. You found the after credits scene. Good for you. You did it. Deep Blue Sea, baby. Let's talk a little bit more about, some good pops that I had in this movie. And the main pops you have in this movie are the deaths that happen in this movie, which is pretty much, again, spoiler warning, it's after the credits. Pretty much everybody, except for 2 people. The main, I'll start at the ending because I talked a little bit about that in the review. The main scientist was supposed to make it towards the end. And for the original take, I wish that ending was out there and put on this release. That would have been a very cool, nice added touch. It probably doesn't exist anymore. Probably got lost to time. But it was supposed to be Thomas Jane and the researcher. Audiences hated the researcher with a passion. She's the reason why everybody is in trouble already. So they listened to the test audiences. They brought back LL Cool J. They brought back Thomas Jane to film some pickup shots. And that's why her death seems so abrupt in this movie, because it wasn't really supposed to be there. And as you can see, like, there's no good shot of her death. It's all CGI. So in the special feature with the production designer, that interview, it was actually said that she had no idea that she was dying until she watched the movie at the premiere. And she, of course, was bummed out about that. Nobody let her in the loop that her character actually passed away. That sounds absolutely maddening and crazy to me. Couldn't imagine that. But a nice little tidbit I wouldn't have known. But her death always just seemed a little like, what? Okay, that's weird. And like, even the way that it's shot, like Thomas Jane jumping in after her, going back away, trying to climb up, but the thing is broken. Like, it all just didn't seem right. It just seemed off. Another fun jump scare kill was, of course, Samuel L. Jackson's death. Even though I knew that was coming, that was still a fun one. And I bet that would have killed in the movie theater, especially if you didn't know it was happening. But even though I knew, that was the only thing I knew about this movie, was that death. Seeing all of the actors' reactions to that, because it wasn't shown in real life. They tried to use as much practical effects as they could in this movie. They made a whole bunch of animatronic sharks. Those looked nice, but it was unsafe the way that they wanted to kill Samuel L., so they decided just to do it all CGI. So they're reacting to nothing. And you can kind of tell on some of their faces that they don't know how to act to a tennis ball, more or less, just to being like, okay, this person died, show me your reaction. A lot of shocked faces. God, there was a shocking scene in this movie with Stellan Skarsgård. Number one, crazy that he would have lived underwater as long as he lived. I know that there was an oxygen mask on him, but that doesn't stop all of the water going in. Like, there would still be water in your lungs. Again, just turn your brain off, I guess. But him crashing into the glass and having them all run away, that was a very fun point. LL Cool J's character just did not, it felt like unneeded screen time in this movie. I wanted this movie to be a brisk 85, 90 minutes long. His character probably brought an extra 15 minutes to the runtime, and I wish that would have just been chopped off. I feel like his character is very unneeded. They kind of added him because he brought a star factor to the movie. Other things that are kind of popping up in my mind. Michael Rappaport's death, I was bummed out about. I really like him as a character actor. He is such a character to begin with. So that was very just out of nowhere. The death of the other female in this cast, with her pretty much like riding a shark up, her trying to like reach out her hands on the ladder to Thomas Jane's character reaching out for her, and the shark just, of course you knew it was going to happen, but she like got lifted out of the water by this shark, blood going everywhere. The blood is so goopy in this movie. It looks like that it looks like a candy my kids would eat. That liquid ooze in a tube, that tube ooze stuff, didn't look like blood at all. Looked like very, very like a melted gummy almost texture consistency. Like when she cut her hand to get the attention of the shark, that did not look like blood coming out of her hand. I'm just throwing out a whole bunch of random thoughts that are coming to my mind after watching the movie. That's probably about it. That's what we wanted here, right? Oh, and of course, I have to talk about the strip down scene so she wouldn't get electrocuted. She killed one of the sharks. She was able to kill one of the beasts that she helped make. And I felt like it was just an excuse to get some TNA factor back into the movie to kind of like wake people up out of their slumber a little bit. I was not mad at it. Don't get me wrong. It was just came completely out of nowhere to me. Still a fun scene nonetheless. The kitchen stuff, swimming through there, LL stuck in the oven. Again, more eye-rolly than anything. A lot of this, like, I feel like is just not my cup of tea when it comes to movie watching. I like a little bit of thought going into some of my action set pieces and not just, I don't know. sharks being smart and like swimming backwards and stuff. Like it just feels so hokey. It feels very sci-fi-ish. I don't know. I feel like I'm done talking about Deep Blue Sea. It's fine. I had a giveaway of Nosferatu, and in that stack I had people like pick what movie out of the stack of movie mail would they want to watch. That was my question to give away Nosferatu. And 85-90% of the people that entered the contest, it was about 200 people that entered the contest. 90% of them entered Deep Blue Sea as the movie that they'd want out of a stack of about 15-20 movies. I was kind of shocked when it came to that, but there's got to be a lot of nostalgic feels with Deep Blue Sea. Like that's what my assumption, that's what my final verdict is going into this. You grew up with this, watching it in the 90s. It has a soft spot in your heart. It just didn't hit that bell for me. It never entered my teenage zeitgeist at all. So I never watched Deep Blue Sea until now. It's fine, but it's pretty average. And those are my thoughts. That's where I'm going to end. Rambling over. What can I zoom into? I got to zoom into the shark, right? Like out of all the artwork, this artwork probably slaps the hardest. But again, this could be any shark movie, but this artwork's great. So see you next time. Bye-bye. Chomp, chomp.